What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Hot Toys unboxing. And today we are talking about the Spider-Man homemade suit from Hot Toys from Spider-Man Far From Home. And this suit is also the homemade suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't think there's any differences really, but in Spider-Man Homecoming he quickly gets an upgrade and we only really see this suit for a brief second, and then he has to go back to that suit because Tony Stark takes that suit from him, because if you're nothing without that suit, then you don't deserve it. And you know, Tony, I like that Tony was his mentor-y, you know, type of thing. But I don't know, what do you guys think is Peter's path gonna be in Spider-Man 4, and do you think is he going to be in Avengers Doomsday? But we're here to talk about this figure today, and on the front of the box you can see it's got that hologram-ish, like you know, reflective material, but it is Mysterio's dome glass, and it's see-through because you can take it off to see the actual picture underneath. But just to talk about what's on the slip cover: Spider-Man homemade suit on the side, legal information on the back. Take off the slip cover. You got the spider suit, the homemade suit on the cover there, and you can see the holograms on the box that Mysterio is using, the drones that he stole from Peter with the Stark tech, and he's making with barf, you know, the hologram stuff to make everyone believe that he's fighting these criminals, but it's not. He's a fake. Mysterio's a fake. So some people still believe Mysterio might be actually alive out there, and that could be a big problem in the future for Peter. But yeah, I've always been a fan of this suit, although it's really simple, you know what I mean? But I always liked the, like, there was just an animated Spider-Man series called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and he starts out in a suit kind of like this, and I kind of just like the homemade Peter doesn't have a fancy suit, but I always want him to get to the fancy suit, you know what I mean? Like, but one of my favorite Spider-Man suits is the Tobey Maguire, you know, wrestling ring fighting suit, you know what I mean? Like the crappy one that he drew on it. Like, it was, I always loved it. I went on as a Halloween character as that for a while. When I was a kid, not recently. There's a list of cast and crew on the back. You can see more of like Mysterio hologram stuff. Not much. It flips open to the front. You get like the Toy Story kind of box where you can see the figure on the inside. And I will say I already did open this up a little bit and take a peek at it and rip off some of the plastic so that this process could be easier for me. But slip off this package and bust into this box and see what this Peter comes with, huh? Oh! So you bust open the clamshell and it comes with another little compartment, and it has these hologram pieces that can go around the base, some extra hands, and the figure itself in the packaging you can see in there, and it has a flight pole, a little base underneath him, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man homemade suit, and then a massive drone, like the Stark drone there. Absolutely massive, but I think it's meant for him to be able to pose and stand on top of it, which is cool for a nice little display feature. But let's bust this bad boy open and see everything that comes with the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Spider-Man homemade suit from Spider-Man Far From Home. Alright, everything out of the box, and this is everything that comes with the homemade suit from Spider-Man Far From Home. You can take a quick look at that figure just standing there in a neutral pose with the hoodie, the two hood, you know, straps to the hoodie, the strings if you would. The ginormous Stark Tech drone that does come with this part that will slide in right there and go into the flagpole so that you can have this thing flying above, which is a nice little detail. And this thing itself is quite chunky and quite massive, so I think we could get him standing there maybe, or have a pose on top. I'm gonna try for you all, but you can see the 6 big old guns on the front there, 6 cannons on top. Yeah, this thing is impressive. So, you know, maybe it could make a crazy lava monster, or, you know, a storm or whatever, water monsters, you know, like maybe it could trick all those people. Mysterio was right, but it does come with this display base that says Spider-Man Far From Home, and comes with the other pieces that were also kind of, because this is from Spider-Man Far From Home, but it's from the Mysterio's Illusion is where this suit comes in from Far From Home. So these are a part of like the illusion that the drone projects, if you know what I mean. And I'll show an example when I get to the comparison section of this video where I'm comparing the Spider-Man homemade suit to other Spider-Men. And I have the Iron Man from the Mysterio Illusion, and it has similar effect with the panels on the outside, which are a pain, and you have to fold them. And the front three, because there's one tiny one right here as well, the front three you have to bend back so that this side's, you know, going, and the other ones you have to bend forward in the back so that the front's going this way, in case you guys were wondering. But peel that down just a little bit. Spider-Man homemade suit on the front, Spider-Man Far From Home there. Nice little touch. Comes with some different eye effects, like a squinting eye almost all the way closed, a more open eye, and then like the neutral regular eye, just, you know, kind of focusing, helping him focus. Comes with some web effects, which I don't love, but if I was to use a web effect at all, I would either use this one as if he was grabbing something, or I would use this one as if he was shooting just a quick one. But there are some blue ones, so maybe I'll try out the blue ones, but, you know, or the web grabbing one. But using this thing with the long ones, I don't think looks very good at all. But it does, you know, look like he's shooting a web, but it like dangles weird, and I don't think it looks good on the shelf. But the hands, it does come out with some swap out hands, as well as the closed fist hands that it comes with. So it has the open hand, it has the thwipping hand, and then it has two fist hands that you can throw the webs in. So it has a little hole in the fists. So yeah, let me put a couple of different poses together for you guys and put together onto the base with this drone here and see what this guy can look like in a couple dynamic poses. And then we'll throw him on the shelf and see what he's looking like with the other hot toys. All right, everybody, I think I found a final pose that I am comfortable with. But looking at the poses we are able to do in this thing, we have a normal neutral pose, arms down, but you can also put the hood on, and you have the squinty eyes, of course. You have in a kind of spider stance. I was trying to get his hand down in front of him, but it doesn't quite look right, and you can't get him to stay. But, you know, you can kind of get him into that spider stance that you would like for a Spider-Man figure, and standing on top of the Stark Tech drone, which is very interesting, on top of that base with the hologram tech thing. You know, it's got a lot going on to it, but I do appreciate the drone that gives it a bit of a display base to it, and it's not just, you know, the figure, the base, and the flight pole. You know, it's got something for it to stand on. And this final pose, which is the pose I think I'll be sticking with, is Spider-Man standing on top of the drone and shooting a bit of a blue web. And, you know, I don't know if that's just because it's his old style suit, or if it's just because it's just shooting out and it's just a little bit blue, or maybe it's an electric web. But either way, I went with the blue web because it looks good with the blue suit, and I believe this will be the final pose for this figure and how I will leave it. But I have some other Spider-Man figures, so let's do some size comparisons, shall we? And then I'll stick it on the shelf and see what it's looking like. So a bit of a size comparison, but also a suit comparison to another suit from the Spider-Man Far From Home sequence of suits. And both from the Fighting Mysterio collection. One of them's fighting the drones with the holograms, and one of them's fighting the lava monster in the Night Monkey suit. And really just an all-black suit, but the stealth suit video will be dropping tomorrow, so stay tuned for that unboxing if you'd like. But yeah, just an interesting little side-by-side comparison for these two suits. But the rest of my side comparisons, I'll throw this homemade suit on the shelf and show you what he's looking like next to some other Spider-Man characters and the Spider-Man integrated suit from No Way Home. So the homemade suit from Spider-Man Far From Home, although it is also from Spider-Man Homecoming, the homemade suit from Far From Home, which was also in that
Mysterio illusion, like the Iron Man over there, has the same type of plastic hologram effect that goes around the base, and they install the same way, but there is no light up effects on this bad boy over here. But look at the size comparison, right? You see the little drone far left over here on the Iron Man, and then the size of the drone on the Spider-Man Homecoming. Honestly, that suit to me is great just for that display base ability. You know what I mean? Like, that thing is legitimately mounted on top of that drone, and that drone looks like it's flying. Like, that is a really cool 1/6 scale display figure, although much like the stealth suit, not my favorite Spider-Man suit, but I do love Tom Holland Spider-Man, so I am probably on a mission to collect all of his Spider-Man suits. And my ultimate, magnum opus, if you would, for his Spider-Man suits is probably going to be the classic, red and blue one that we saw at the very, very end, almost a post-credit scene for No Way Home type of thing. But hopefully we get to see more of that suit in Spider-Man 4. But also, I'm a huge Tobey Maguire fan, so maybe I have to start diving into some Tobey suits and Andrew suits, and then I'll just have Spider-Mans everywhere, so that will be a problem. But more hot toys to come for sure. And let me toss these bad boys back on the shelf and give you one final look. Now that is a sexy looking shelf. I really, really like how that drone looks. It is beefy. The suit could be better, but I mean, what else am I asking for? I mean, it's that suit. If I mean it could be better, yeah, it could be this suit. It could be the integrated suit. It could be the traditional Spider-Man suit. But for what it is, I actually quite like it. And the base, they at least gave you something cool. Not quite as, deluxe base as that, or say that lava base there. But hey, got 2 Spider-Mans in the collection and a 3rd on its way. And maybe even a 4th on its way. Who knows? But just a comparison between the 2 Spider-Mans. Size looks about the same for Tom Holland Spider-Man, which, feels correct. But Venom, dwarfing the both of them, looks absolutely beastly. And yeah, this is going to be yet another unboxing from me. My name's Big Cam. If you guys enjoyed this unboxing, please comment below. And I have all types of Lego videos on my channel and movie reviews and more unboxings to come. So if you guys would like to see my other stuff, go click some other videos, support the channel, like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a friend, do all the things that help support the channel. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to follow my other social medias, links down in the description below. And once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.